Hey everybody, Marz here, and remember my pronouns are they, them, because my gender identity is non-binary. I'm going to go a little bit more into that because it actually factors into this month's question. So this month's question is, how does our gender identity affect our HIV treatment and or advocacy? So, my gender identity affects every part of my life, but especially when I go to the doctor, as it does say in my chart what to call me. It says to call me Marz. However, legally my name hasn't been changed yet. I'm still in the steps of doing that. And because of that, my dead name is there. Now we call it a dead name because it's the name that we no longer go by. It's an identity that is dead to us. That's how much we dislike that name and that identity usually, because it's just not us. It's not me. Can't really speak for everybody. It's not me. And so because of that, when I go to the doctor's office, they tend to forget. And so they'll call me by my dead name initially. Then they go to find my file and check me in, and they're like, oh, Marz, because it's written in my chart, gender queer, please call them Marz. And so there's that. But then there's the nurse who comes out to do your vitals. That's also the second occasion that if I'm gonna be dead named, that tends to be one. And that's because they print out all those labels, right? There's like a label at the top of like every single chart page, and it's got your name, your legal name, and your sex. Not your gender identity, just your sex. So mine says female because I was born female at birth. And honestly, medically, I'd almost prefer that the F stay there for the sake of not hesitating if and when there's an emergency. They're non-binary, but which one is it? I don't know. But so medically, I think that's my biggest fear. But typically, whenever I get dead named medically, I'll just say, hey, yes, that's me, but can you please call me Marz? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, definitely. And they just call me Marz. Sometimes there's no apology, but when the paper in front of them is not saying Marz, I don't know that I can really be mad about it. So I choose to not make a scene. I choose to not get mad about it. I correct them. I say, hey, I'm Marz. We keep moving. When it comes to advocacy, so I've identified as Marz for the last 6 years at least. Non-binary also for the last 6 years at least. That's at work. That's actually in every part of my life I have identified as Marz, not just to some people, not just to others. So if you haven't known me more than 6 years, you've never known my dead name. Even, the HIV Stops With Me campaign, I am Marz, M-A-R-Z. Year 1, I was M-A-R-S, because I'm still just trying to figure out exactly what name I wanted to use legally. So M-A-R-Z is what it will be. And with that, it was, I let my friend groups know. I let everybody know that my name was Marz. And so everywhere that doesn't require my legal name, I use Marz. So, but other places that do, such as things that maybe require payment or something like that, I tend to have to use my dead name. So a lot of times, I'll be on a list and, my friend's looking for Marz and they're like, you're not registered yet. And like, look for my last name. And then they'll find me and they'll be like, oh, didn't know. Like, it's cool. It's fine. Now you do. But please make sure they call me Marz and write Marz on everything other than maybe hotel reservations and travel reservations when it comes to advocacy. So I still have to be careful because certain things do need my legal name, but I try to make sure I'm very forward about that confidentiality piece being important to me and making sure, hey, I'm Marz. Please remember that, and please only use this information for what is legally needed. Usually that helps negate a lot of dead naming and a lot of different, exposing of my name on random rosters and lists. But overall, I'm okay being that person that is on a list and they're like, Marz, is that a boy or a girl? Doesn't matter. I'm just Marz. And I like that. I'm okay with that. Kids walking up to you, are you a boy or a girl? I'm a human, just like everybody else. I'm a human. Whether I'm a male or a female really shouldn't matter. When it comes to medically, I'll admit that I was born a female for the sake of treatment, for the sake of getting what it is that I need. But outside of that, I stand in my neutrality. I'm okay with my androgyny, my ambiguity. I'm good with it, and it's because I don't feel like I'm a man or a woman, and I don't feel like my gender identity really factors into my capabilities in life. So that's my take on this month's question. I hope everybody is staying warm out there. Bye, everybody.